How do I make $4,000 a month as a freelance video editor? And how do I manage 7 different clients as a video editor all at once? I don't know really. I work every day and I am always on. I am constantly thinking about work. Some days I feel on fire and some days I feel totally exhausted, but I love what I do and I have never been happier. So the answer to what it's like working as a full-time freelance video editor, it's accountable. It is creative. It is hard and it's mentally debilitating at times, but it is definitely rewarding if that's the route that you are looking to pursue. So let's talk about managing multiple clients and how I keep everything organized. More than likely, if you go the freelance route, you are going to need quite a few clients to keep you afloat. In my case right now, I have 7. 8 if I'm counting my own needy self, which feels a lot like having a client. To some people that might not sound like a lot. When it's just me handling all these clients and the majority of them have a pretty inconsistent schedule, it's a full-time job. Naturally, I would say that I'm a pretty organized person when I'm in control of everything, which is why working for myself has become quite easy for me. I have several different notebooks, all with a different purpose. Scratch notebook, gratitude journal, goals journal, and planner. And then I have my big calendar that helps me keep everything on track. So writing things down is obviously very important to me. But it's a lot more than that. I guess that's what I mean by whenever I said that I'm always on, is that I am constantly 24/7 thinking about each one of my clients. Am I forgetting to do anything? Is something due this week? Just making sure that everything is taken care of. I also leave several reminders on my phone to remind me later in the day if I'm feeling especially untrustworthy of my future self. It's 11 o'clock at night and I'm still editing. I had this surge of energy and also Greg went fishing, so I decided to put a little bit of extra work in. I normally only work until 9 o'clock at night and then I go to bed because I wake up pretty early. Decided to power through, so cheers to that. Okay, so let's talk about motivation and how it's complete garbage. If any of us had it our way, we would probably be working half as much as we do now currently. And we would really only be doing only the work that really speaks to us in the moment when we're feeling like it, kind of work that just flows through us easily. However, since that cannot happen, there are a few tips that I use when it comes to motivating myself. The biggest thing that I do personally is I work in pretty small increments. I can't really sit for more than an hour without feeling it in not only my body and my circulation, but also my mind. My mind just kind of starts to go crazy. I start to feel a lot of resistance in what I'm doing. And when that comes, I know I just need to stop. And on a small micro level and also on the macro, like throughout weeks at a time, I know that sometimes I'm able to chug things out really fast. Sometimes I just need to take a day off and give both my body and my brain a total break because I know that I do constantly overwork myself. They say that you actually only have about 3 to 5 hours of creativity to work through you every day. So that's 3 to 5 hours of work, essentially, if you are constantly doing creative work. I am not always doing creative work, but I'm really trying to keep that in mind through my day-to-day to be more forgiving of my brain and my body if I'm unable to put out the kind of work that I wish that I could. Sometimes I'm just maxed out for the day. And it's really important not to overstretch ourselves when it comes to true creative work, because that is where, you know, most of the value is, and that's what we're getting paid to do for most of us who are in a creative job field. Another tip that I like to use came from a quote actually from a writer named Johnny Mercer, and it is all about writing for the wastebasket. In my case, I would call it creating for the wastebasket. I think a big part of losing motivation comes from trying to perfect every little thing and truly exhausting yourself over the creative work that you've put out, and you're trying to nitpick and make it perfect when you already put out their creative work. Maybe it doesn't need to be fixed. Maybe it's just good enough for you to send out for notes. Or maybe you're spending time on graphics that nobody asked for and that maybe don't even matter. Constantly trying to up our game and to put out our best work, and that's great. and should be rewarded. Sometimes when you're working with clients, you are putting in work that may not even go noticed, at least not in the client's eyes. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you get clients that are super demanding and they have very specific requests of what they are looking for, and in that case it might even make it easier because you know exactly what you need to make. But in the case of clients that are like, use your magic, it's like, okay, well, my magic created this, and so you can take a look at it, and if you've got notes, bring them all back to me. I'm happy to make them, but here's what I created. So circling back to creating for the wastebasket, essentially that's what that means. Whenever I'm feeling resistance to what I am working on, I tend to think, are you overestimating the client's needs? Are you creating something that is maybe not something that was asked for, maybe something that you're not getting paid for, or maybe you're creating something that just maybe is not actually necessary to finish the project. Just get it out there on either the paper or on the timeline and send it to the client. 90% of the times that I've struggled with this and then I've just went ahead and said, it's good enough, I send it to the client, it's approved, or it's good enough, or it has minimal notes along with it. Either they are notes about the thing that I was worried about or something else entirely. And if they are about the thing that I was worried about, then they are perfect because they help me clarify what is going through the client's head and what they are prioritizing so that I can make notes associated specifically with what they are looking for. The last part that I would like to talk about is work and home balance. Because part of this video is about working from home as a video editor, we definitely have to talk about that because I never stop, essentially. I don't have an end time, and which is unfortunate. I would like to implement that into my future schedule. I think that it is important to have an actual end time. Unfortunately, with the way that my client work goes, it kind of just spans like kind of throughout the whole day and maybe even into the night, so I just take breaks throughout. But anyways, work and home balance. If I lived alone, there would truly be nothing stopping me from just working 24/7, just at any time of day or night, whenever I feel like working, I would just do it. Which is really no way to live. You definitely should have some separation because it really does take a significant amount of time to decompress your head from the amount of not only stress, but the creative work that you're doing so that you can reset and refresh for the next day. So luckily I have Greg, my boyfriend, who I live with, and he is very helpful in reminding me when he comes home. That is when I take like a 3 to 4 hour break. He reminds me to get up and take a walk, which is very important. And he just reminds me that there is so much more to life than working all the time. As much as I enjoy it, there's plenty of other things that are worth prioritizing, like little trips to places and vacations and things like that. I am very grateful for him for helping me to prioritize what is important so that I don't just bury myself into a cave of work. Working from home as a freelance full-time video editor has its pros and it has its cons. The work that I do and the feeling of conquering all these projects is so incredibly rewarding. The self-loathing and the lack of motivation and the self-doubt can be unbearable at times. But overall, I would highly recommend this life if you are like me and you have a strong entrepreneurial spirit, if you want complete control of the clients that you're serving and the message that you're spreading with the work that you're putting out. And of course, if you are looking to have the freedom of your own time being in the control of your own hands, this definitely could be the life for you. And since you made it this far, please hit the like button and hit subscribe for more tips on video editing, freelance lifestyle, and creativity. Thank you to my team. Again, I'm Colleen, and I will see you guys on the next video. Have a good one.